Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm sorry for not uploading in a while. Things have just been kind of crazy, but I'm with,
Boar,
and I'm Rat, and
and
this
this
is
is
the
the
Walking
Walking
Podcast.
Podcast. Um, so this week's episode, or today's episode, is about the Mary Celeste ship, and I'm not really sure where it was. You said it was departed from where?
It was leaving New York, going to the UK, I believe.
Okay, and yeah, so leaving from New York and going to the UK, and pretty sure it was just for it was a cargo ship kind of, or not a cargo ship, but like it had like goods on it, like it had what's it called again? The
What was on the ship?
Yeah.
It was it was ethanol.
Ethanol.
It's alcohol, but before it becomes alcohol.
Yeah. And basically, they had like 21 barrels of alcohol on it. Like just a ton of, not alcohol, ethanol. That's what I meant. 21 barrels of ethanol on the ship. And the captain brought along his family, along with six
I think
six
there's
or seven.
10 other crew members.
Yeah, but like excluding his family. So there were 10 total, but like it was his family
Oh, so seven,
and then
yeah,
like
seven crew.
seven other crew members. And so 10 people total on the ship. Ship wasn't that big. It was only 100 and something feet long, like 100 and change feet long, and only like 25 feet wide.
Yeah.
So not a massive ship, but still big enough to, you know, like hold that amount of people and along with that cargo. So, and so on their way from New York to the UK, something happened while they were out there on in the sea on their journey. Something happened that it's like kind of hard to know what happened because no one has like a full like idea or full explanation of what actually happened out there. Um, but what someone or like the reporter that found it said is that he said that he got to the ship because back then if you found something from another country and you like brought it in and it had like goods on it and you like gave it to their government, the government would pay you a good bit of money for like the finder's fee, you know? So they thought, and the judge thought that it was just like, oh, they made something up, like they just left on like another boat and then left that boat and then they like arranged for that guy to find it so that they could all get the finder's fee and split it.
Yeah.
So the judge was having like I don't know, like a hard thought about it. And
What I kind of found uh, weird about that whole situation
yeah,
is that if they in it you can like see on the boat, I mean you can't see, but we hear about the boat that everything was odd about it.
mm-hmm.
Like nothing, it wasn't like nothing was in order. It was almost too perfect for people were trying to get off the ship
Yeah,
or somebody was forcing them off the ship.
yeah,
Because if like if pirates got to the ship would be completely trashed.
yeah,
Or if a storm threw them off, everything would be everywhere. The barrels were where they were supposed to be. All the crew's personal belongings were where they were supposed to be. And where a lifeboat was a the rope was cut. And when you're out at sea, you want as much rope as you can get. You don't want to have any rope that you don't have.
mm-hmm.
And how they left all their like necessity tools to survive out in the ocean on a little small raft. Like, they left compasses, they left maps, they left all this other stuff. So I don't truly think that this is all just a coincidence or something like that.
Yeah, like something definitely happened out there that, I mean, no one fully knows what happened. Like I said, like they could have didn't they find did they find bodies on the ship?
Nobody's
No, no
nothing.
bodies.
They did find one thing, was the guy that was trying to get the guy who found the ship convicted of uh not, what is the word? Uh just falsely, like, turning it in
Oh
and
yeah.
trying to just get money out of it.
Mhm.
Um they did find a sword that was sheathed under the captain's bed,
Mm.
and it he said it might have blood on it. So that's how vague he was being.
Yeah, he was being pretty broad by saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't want to like. I don't know why he wouldn't want to like disclose anything
Exactly.
like that. That seems kind of like suspicious if you ask me. But um,
Because, and
mhm,
this is what he said, which made no sense, is that he said that all the crew killed the captain, his wife, and his daughter, threw
mhm.
them overboard, and drank all the alcohol and fell off the ship in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
But
it's not.
all the barrels were untouched, and you
Hmm.
can't really drink that.
Yeah, you can't drink ethanol because it's not in like alcohol form. It's not in like a drinkable form yet. Um, like at least that's my knowledge of ethanol. But yeah, there's no way he started drinking ethanol on the ship and then like threw his family off. Like he wouldn't do that because you wouldn't drink ethanol in the first place. So someone definitely, or on my like my interpretation is, I think someone definitely like attacked them on the ship, but like made sure it was like very discreet. Like there were not much evidence left behind, clearly, because the only thing that they found was a sword that, like, quote, might have blood on it. Like, I don't know. It's just doesn't seem doesn't seem right, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, the whole situation, like, people could throw out the idea that, quote unquote, a kraken killed them, took them off the ship, but if you think about it, the ship would be damaged
Mm,
and stuff would be everywhere if a so-called kraken, which technically they are real because of the giant squid,
yeah,
but it's like, if you think about it, that's not fully reasonable. The whole situation is weird. Like, how, first of all, how would you, why would you leave your ship?
yeah.
And especially if it was the storm,
Mm-hmm.
you would have so much better possibility on the ship than you would off.
Exactly. Like,
And the ship was floating through the middle of the ocean, no land around them. And the captain was an experienced captain. He
mm-hmm.
knew what he was doing. There's no way he was just like, oh, let's all get off the ship. There's land near here.
Yeah,
He was smart. He knew what he was doing. But the life raft was gone. Nobody ever saw the life raft again. Nobody ever saw any of them. Okay, so one of my theories on what could have happened is that the ethanol could have made a gas that made them all hallucinate, and they all started going crazy. Like, they weren't thinking, they weren't like doing the right things, and they kind of just all fell off the ship.
mm,
And maybe somebody started figuring it out, so they tried getting on the life raft. They cut the rope, but they screwed themselves over in the end.
yeah.
And because like the whole thing with all of their equipment, all of their stuff is just on the ship is weird to me on and how it's in a perfect order
Mhm.
because that kind of rules out pirates going on there and like
Yeah.
trying to rob them. But who knows? Do you have a theory about it?
Um, not like I don't think I have a theory, but what you said, like that's a, I never thought about that. Like that it could have been turned into a gas, honestly. And and when you said that he was cutting the rope, like of the raft, like he could have like I don't know, like cut himself too or something. Cause like if he's having a knife, he could have like cut himself and then gotten scared that like he like cut himself or something. So he threw the knife under the bed. Um, just so that like no one would know or find out, even though that like they were probably out of their mind, not knowing what's going on because they're like intoxicated. But yeah, that's actually like that's a solid point. Like I never thought about that.
Yeah. And this is also another thing is that there's always stories. Well, I'm pretty sure somewhere in the Bible it mentions like the Leviathan or something like that, if I believe. It's either
Yeah.
the Bible or it's another religion that's closely related. Um and also if you look at medieval times, if you look at all their maps, there's always a portion in the map where it shows a sea serpent in the ocean.
Mm.
And if you think about it, it is possible that these group of people had, I mean, the ship wasn't destroyed or anything. And
Mhm.
also the sails were all odd. The like the level of the sails were not if you wanted to be going somewhere. It was kind of like if you just wanted to be floating through the ocean, not
Yeah.
aimlessly. And um but the whole thing was like if you look at in back in medieval times, there's always tell of sea serpents in the water that
Mhm.
want to eat people and that take down ships. And it is possible that maybe they stumbled across something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I doubt it because in all these stories, the ship just gets sunk and stuff like that.
Mm.
But it's possible that this creature could have gotten to the ship and ate them all or something like that. They tried getting away on the life raft, but it was too late.
Yeah. Like, but I don't know what creature would be so discreet to not leave a mess like that. You know, like they would totally wreck everything if it was a big enough creature. It could have been like a I don't know, a smaller creature that was like still a monster almost like that they didn't know about that just like climbed up the ship or something and then just I don't know just like wrecked the crew and ate them all or something. But what's crazy is that like you know like our oceans are massive. Like we've only discovered like 3% of them.
Yeah.
So there's still 97% of our ocean we've never explored or discovered. So there's still things out there that we've never seen or like known about because 97% we've only known 3% of our ocean and discovered them. So we don't know what's out there still.
Yeah, and something that actually that reminded me of, did you see the video that was like really popular, I think around December-ish, or it might have been like February, January, um, that there was this giant mass in the water that was moving from Antarctica to just
Oh
up,
yeah.
and it was like this blackish mass.
Yeah.
It just kept moving up. When I saw that, ooh, I was like, yeah, that's kind of freaky because, like you said,
Mhm.
70% or no, what'd you say?
97% of our ocean we've
Yeah,
not discovered.
like, and the 3% is mostly surface level,
Yeah.
and I think the deepest we've ever gotten is the Mariana Trench or lower. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on
Yeah.
that, but I'll probably look it up. But it it's freaky to think about that there could be so much out there and all these like old wives' tales on the ships that they saw these creatures
Hmm.
could be true. They could be
Yeah.
100% true, like the Flying Dutchman and all that other stuff. But I actually did, the Flying Dutchman was easily disproved recently because if you're looking at a ship from far away and it's on the water, it will look like the ship's floating.
Mm.
Like, because the way the water reflects,
Yeah.
it looks like the ship's floating off like the water and it's like coasting. It looks pretty cool actually.
Yeah.
I'll put a photo in. But it it's definitely like kind of scary to think about that those guys were just in the ocean and then they're all gone without a trace. And I did think of something when you said like creatures and stuff.
Hmm.
I thought about, do you know what sirens are?
Yeah.
I thought about a siren because if you think about it, what it could have done is, you know, the whole story about sirens. They look like mermaids, they look pretty,
Yeah.
but like they start singing a song to sailors,
Mm.
and the sailors get into the water and then they eat the sailors
Oh
or they
yeah.
drown them. Like they take them super far down and it turns out they're like ugly, creepy looking and stuff like that. But what could have happened was sailors were walking around on the ship and they start singing the song.
Yeah.
And as it does, they go into the ocean. And maybe the captain tried to get the sword because maybe he snapped out of it or saw it, and maybe he tried cutting one of them.
Oh yeah.
But then the song got to him. He sheathed the sword, put it back under his bed, and then walked out into the ocean, and it killed him.
Yeah.
Or even any other member of the crew, the
Yeah.
wife, the daughter, the captain, any other person. It could have been anybody.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Those sirens. It reminds me of like, from Ice Age, how
Yeah.
like that squirrel and like that girl that like those
Yeah.
these like piranhas like
Yeah.
shape shifted into like an acorn or something.
Yeah.
Like this one other squirrel. I don't know. It could have been like that. They could have like been
Hmm.
hallucinating from like the gas or something. If there was a gas from the ethanol. Is that
Yeah.
it? Ethanol?
Yeah. Ethanol.
Yeah, from the ethanol. They could have been like hallucinating and like heard things or seen things in the ocean that were like animals. Like they could have seen sharks or something and been like and like saw that as like, I don't know, like someone that they knew or someone that they loved. So they went after them. Like they could have thought that it was like someone that they knew drowning, like in the ocean, and they're like, oh, let me go save him, and then little do they know that it's sharks or
Yeah.
something.
And that actually made me think about something is I didn't actually think about this at all. And you just brought the idea in is that there could have been no monsters, but the ethanol could have created a sea monster in their head. And they could have
Yeah,
been feeding off each other's illusions because
yeah,
this is proven by some people that if you're like if you and I say there was a gas leak in the house,
yeah,
you and I were hallucinating and I mentioned something, you and I would start hallucinating the same exact thing.
yeah,
So it's possible that they could have seen like a giant sea monster and they
yeah,
were like, "Oh, we need to get out of here." So some people jumped overboard and some people got in the life raft because they're
yeah,
seeing this thing that's not even there.
yeah.
And they're all terrified, but there's no need to be terrified.
Hmm. So was the life raft actually gone?
Yeah, it was gone.
It was
There was
gone.
other ones as well, but it was just that one and the rope was cut,
Mm,
which is
yeah, it's
odd.
weird. So they could have. I mean, it could have been like planned, but I doubt it. Like I doubt that they would have set that up to get the finder's reward and split that.
Yeah.
Um, because because it does seem odd. Like, why would you just abandon ship and leave all your stuff? Unless it's for like a big sum of money. Like, if the money was like greater than the cost of the ethanol, then why? Like, I wouldn't see a reason for them to like I don't know, like team up or something, and then
Yeah.
like almost steal money, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like stealing basically.
There was a theory that I heard that I found kind of interesting.
Yeah.
This isn't my theory, so don't take it from me. This was somebody else's theory that I watched their video. I'll put a link in description. They go into much better detail than us, to be
Yeah.
honest. Um, it was, oh, what was it? Oh, I'm forgetting. Crap. Oh, I think he mentioned this, if I remember correctly. But the guy that was trying to convict the other guy from finding the ship, a theory is that him and his men went onto the ship
Mm-hmm.
and killed everybody on it, like threw them overboard and drowned them.
Yeah.
Because what people used to do is they could throw people overboard at the front and they would hold them by a rope so they would get stuck on the barnacles and their back would get all ripped up
Oh.
and then blood would go everywhere. So sharks would come in from miles away
Oh yeah.
and they would rip them to shreds and then there would be nothing left of them.
Mm.
And he could have done that a bunch of times. Or he
Yeah.
could have drowned them, or he just went on there with his crew, slit their throats, just killed them all. But that's the thing, there was no blood. Besides,
Yeah.
apparently there might be blood on the ship. Or on the sword, sorry.
Yeah. I mean, they could have been like mid attack. He could have like used his sword and like got like a hit off or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I don't know, it might have not been a good enough hit, and they still got him, but like there was no blood on the ground or anything,
Yeah,
and then like the whoever came on the ship, they just took that sword and hid it under the bed
yeah.
because
Because,
that's where it was found.
like, if a sword's not sharp enough, it's kind of like hitting somebody with a bat,
Yeah.
and it could have just caused internal bleeding.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be hard to have everybody on the ship have internal bleeding, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they could have just thrown them overboard or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like this whole thing just is very suspicious.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing kind of just is not right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is gonna do it for us. And honestly, I think you guys should watch the other guy's video. His name's Wendigoon. I bet a lot of you have heard of him. He's really popular. I personally like him. Pretty sure I showed him to you a couple of
Yeah.
times.
He has great videos.
And exactly, like he's much better at this than us,
Yeah.
to be 100% honest. And just go check out his video. There's a portion in that video that I'll link in the description that is about the Mary Celeste. And it is a very interesting story. And honestly, guys, like I've always said in any video, if this intrigues you, go research some other things, like go to the Wikipedia, do other things like that,
Yeah.
and figure out things about it. If you're so interested in this, that would be a great thing to go research than just playing video games all day or something like that.
Yeah.
And honestly, guys, I really hope this video just told a cool story. I hope it was better than our last one, because our last one wasn't that great, to be honest.
Yeah.
It was kind of clunky.
Well, this is about it for us. And just remember, guys, to
To
keep on walking.